Hello everyone, welcome back to more Artisan of Glimmith. Yesterday, I entered this area. What's going on in here? And I got the metal window, but not the gold window. So I'm happy to poke around some more. What were we learning about? Size separation. That's right. Okay. Well, so there's all these 2s and 5s. And the 2s can't be like next to each other, but that they're not even close enough for that to be an issue. So it seems like there must be something about stopping the 5s from getting to each other. Yeah, like these guys in the corner are pretty long, right? But this one in particular, it has to stick out to here, at least, and then either this way, which is impossible, or this way, which is just barely possible. So that's the shape this has. This can't go here, I think, because if it did, that wouldn't be a, that would be fine as far as size separation. They're not touching. But if it does this, it has to take this cell or this cell, right? It's either this shape or this shape, right? So it can't go there. And this is a corner or a sticking out edge, I guess. So it could do like this or this are, I think, the only options, right? So I don't know which of these two cells it has, although I do know they're not the same, they're not connected. And these are the same region. Which means we can't. Oh, and in fact, I guess I can draw these walls, right? In case that matters. There's a wall there as well. So this comes out. And this is a Z. So it can't go this way. It wouldn't be able to finish. It must go this way. And then I guess go like that. And now we have this being more restricted. Like, what? Really? That's very hard. Have I messed this up? I don't think you can do this. Okay, let's back up to this guy. Did I do something wrong here? Do something wrong with this. Is this incorrect somehow? Well, let's just start over. There you go. So this. Oh, there's actually another way this could work, I think. I assumed this would be the short corner, and I said, well, that's impossible, so it has to be this. But it could be the long corner, not if it goes this way, but if it goes this way, we could have this shape. I see. But I guess this is impossible, right? Because this has to be one end of the shape now, and it's it's either this way or this way. Either way, this is a real problem. So we actually know that. And now we have to get to these two cells somehow by touching here or here, but I don't yet know which way. And that means this. So this has to come out, and this has to be either the short end or the long end, but if it were the short end, we'd have this, which is a problem. So it must be the long end. And we get this and this. This can't touch there. And it can't touch here either. So I think it has to look like this or like this. I think those are the only, well, no, because it could do this. Yeah, there's a few options, it seems like. Well, this is impossible. Because that would mean this is the long end. It would have to go to here and then stick out here or here. I don't really care which would give us this restriction. And now there's only one way. Well, no, it's not impossible. I was thinking then I'd have to do this, which doesn't work. But that's not true. You could do this, and it does just barely work. If this sticks up here. So I don't think what I said is true. I think this is actually possible from what I know now. So can I make more progress on this U now? With this? I was able to make lots of progress on it before, erroneously, but it would be nice to make some legitimate progress. It can't take this cell. Or this cell. Those are... or this one. Those are certainly true. So, but like it could do this... could do this, could do a lot of things, right? Maybe like this is impossible because this, but it's not, right? We could do like that. Well, actually, this is horrible. This doesn't work. So if this U takes this cell, there's now only one way to do this Z, and that way doesn't work. So this U doesn't go here. Which makes sense, because having it go down here was how I ruined things before, right? Remember I had this shape? And then this ended up being a problem. So it doesn't reach there. But what does it do? I mean, okay, I don't know that this is a wall, but I'm just trying to mark off like what areas this could get to. Could it get to here? No. Because it'd have to, that would have to be the sort of spine here of the U. if this were to happen. Well, no. It could be either... These have to be two corners, right? And that means the cells adjacent, either these two or these two, would have to be in. And neither one of those can happen, because we said we can't take this cell, and we clearly can't take this cell either. So it can't get to there. So now we have to be looking at a horizontal, or well, a U that is wider than it is tall in this orientation, or its vertical mirror. Because remember, it actually can't get there either. Ah, and this leaves us with only one possibility, doesn't it? It has to fit into this 3x2 and use up this space. So it actually has to be exactly this, I think. Nope, I don't know that yet. I have to say, it's tempting to draw this in. Although I see now that that's impossible. This too would have a problem. No, it wouldn't. It could do that. I don't know this, though. Like, it just seems like it's maximally flexible for what's going on down here. It imposes the least restrictions on this whole area. But that isn't really true, because this also imposes, like, it imposes more restrictions on this T, but less restrictions here. I guess, though, this is clearly impossible. This can't happen. The T would have to look exactly like this, and then there's no space for U. So I think this is maximally flexible, which isn't a proof that it's in. I could be wrong about it somehow, but I think it's something I'd like to assume for now anyway. Actually, how on earth do I solve the puzzle after this? I guess like that, and this. Okay, what did I get wrong? Why? Oh, because I haven't marked this area yet. Yeah. How hard was that one? Was that a 4 or something? It felt like a 4. It was a 3. You're killing me. Okay, another 3. These T's have to be the same. So it's either this or this. I don't know which. This 4... can't go here, can it? I guess it could if we did this. Well, this S has to take that cell, clearly. And then either this one or this one, right? Which means this T cannot be allowed onto this cell. And that tells us the exact shape of the... Well, almost the exact shape. It could go that way. Earlier I said that was impossible, but of course that's wrong. I just didn't list it among the possibilities because I didn't think about it. Wouldn't this be a problem? This 2 would come down here. No, it would be fine. We'd have a 2 and a 1. Okay. Ah, now this 4 can't come over here. Because the only way for this 4 to avoid touching it would be this, which now touches this other 4. So it has to come down here. And we have this shape for the S piece. Oh, something else I could have done that would have been easier would be to stop these 2s from looking at each other, I guess. But fine. This, yeah, that could go up, I suppose. It's tough for this 4 to avoid seeing this one, right? I think this is the only way. And then we do this. If this went up, we'd have a problem here, so it goes left. That's a 3, but it can't go here. So it goes there. Those have to join up. That's the 4, that's a 2. The 3 can't go to those spaces. That's a 2. That's my 3. This 4 and this 4 are different 4s. And this one has to come to one of these 2 cells, so this 4 can't go here. And it can't go here either. And it can't go here, so it has to take exactly those 4 cells. This 4 now can't take either of these, so it connects up here. This 4 has to come up this way, the 3 is done, the 2 goes there, easy mode. Oh, I did these already. I see you in the forest. Range 3 to 4 and size separation, huh? Well, these can't connect. So, I mean, like, if this continues, these have to both stop, and if this stops, these have to both continue, but I don't know what to do with that. I see. The point of this puzzle is that range 3 to 4 and size separation means you need alternating 3s and 4s, right? You can't have any cell that's next to a 3 and a 4, because it would be nothing. So if you stop this, these have to both, well, I guess then you can't really, yeah. If you stop this, these have to both become 4s. And either one of them takes this, and then there are 2 4s touching, or none of them take it, and then this touches both a 3 and a 4. Neither of those possibilities is indeed a possibility. So this is a 4, and these are both 3s. Now this is a 3, and these are both 4s, so we have to do this. This is a 4. This is a 3. This is a 3. This is a 4, but which way does it go? I don't know. These are both 3 regions, so this is a new region that touches neither of these and is size 4. It could take one of these 2 cells, but only one. So it has to take at least 2 this way, I guess. It feels as though there has to be something about how to fill this area, right? Because it's quite enclosed, and I know this is a 4. Ah, I see at least something. These regions are both 3s. So they're both touching a 4. So these 2 cells are both 4s. But they can't be different 4s, so they must be the same 4. No, what I just said is not necessarily true. It could do this, right? Then this cell would be a 3, not a 4. But I still think there's something about getting in here. Like, because what if we did do this? This region would have to be a 4, and it would have to look exactly like that. No choice. Right? So, and if it doesn't go this way, we have a 4 here that would have to take these 2 and 2 of these 3. In particular, this one. So I guess we can say that whether or not this comes over, these 2 are the same region. And they're of size 4. Well, this area over here, there are 2 vacant cells, but these regions together have to grow by exactly 3. So I guess I can say, I'm not sure how useful it is, but I can say that exactly one of these 2 cells is taken by this area, and the other one isn't. So these are in different regions. But that doesn't help me very much, I don't think. I mean, suppose, though, that it were this one that was not from in here. That would mean it's touching a 3, so this would be a 4, which couldn't go here because this is a 3, so it would have to come up and up, right? Well, no, it could get here because this 3 could go that way. But it can't. Because then this would be isolated, right? I see. I think. This cell, if it isn't part of this region here, it's a 4, and this is a 3. And that 3 could come up here, and then they wouldn't touch, or they would touch, but they'd be different sizes, and that's okay. But this can't escape? Can it? No, because since we blocked this area off, this region has to be expanding out here, and then the 4s do touch. So I think all of this is to say that I have to do that. And now this 4 expands into this area. Oh, I think I could have done that much more easily. I knew these were both 3s and they couldn't touch. Whoops. So now I know this 3 doesn't go up, it goes over. And this 4 has to take exactly these, and that's a 3. This is a 4. And this is a 3. So if I put a wall here, this couldn't be anything, so they have to touch. We can't go up there. So that's a new 3, and that's my 4. This is a 3, which can't go there, it goes there. Okay. I mean, I found a valid inference eventually that let me sort this out. But I think if I just pointed this to the right earlier, it would have been much easier. And I missed that these couldn't touch each other because they were the same size. Because I hadn't finished drawing in the regions. So it didn't quite hit me what it meant that they were different regions. This looks like another coloring problem, doesn't it? Because these walls mean there are different regions on the other side, which means the regions have to be of a different size as well. So let's use blue and red to represent the two sizes of regions. I don't know which is 3 and which is 4, but I know there are 2 of them, right? We end up having this. This has to get out. Now red here means this will be blue, so whoops. These 2 are the same region size, so they have to be the same region. Okay, great. That's a 3. So it turns out blue is 4 in this case. And red is 3. It's a nice start. What now? Is there like a corner chasing thing here where, like, if this red comes all the way down into here, it has a big impact on the blue, which affects the red, which affects the blue, which affects the red, which affects the blue, which affects the red, like that. And I guess this has to come down then. That makes this blue. Yeah, and then you have a problem, finally. So chasing this all the way around the edge has created an issue here. I think it would have been easier to see this in a more direct way, actually. I didn't have to actually chase the corners. You could just see, look, if this comes all the way down here, if it doesn't take this cell, this is a new region, but what color is it? It can't be blue or red. So we have to go up here. What about this region? it can't be either of these two regions. Neither of them can reach. And it can't go here, because then it would be touching a 3 and a 4. So it does that. This also can't be any of the regions I'm currently working with, right? And yet, this red... This red is very constrained, I guess. It has to take at least 2 of these cells, so this green has to go there. Oh, this wall is what's important. Because whatever color is here, whatever color green is, the opposite color has to be on both of these walls. And that can't be blue, because then I'd have the same... I'd have 2... Well, I can't get 2 blues here, is the point. So the blue does this, and these are both red. Don't make me do 5s. I'm not good enough at this game. Oh, the 2 can't go touching this 2 either, so it does this, okay. This 2 can't go either of these ways. This one can't go here. Ah, range 2 to 4. I can't have 1s. So this isn't a 1. And it, excuse me, isn't a 2 either. But I don't know which way it goes. It could be a 3 or a 4. And go either way, really, I think. This isn't a 1 either, and it's not a 2. And so it has to move to touch this 3, but it's not a 3. So it must be a 4 going one of these ways. I don't know which. That gives me this 2. This 2 now can't go there. This 3 has to take at least that cell. And so these 2 cells are taken up by this 4 and this 3 in some way. So I can wall them off. And then it'll be a matter of size separation to figure out which way it goes. If the 4 reaches here, I have to do this. If the 3 reaches here, I have to do this, right? So I don't know yet, but this will be resolved by solving the rest of the puzzle. What region is this? It's not the same region as this one. And yet, it can't stop here, because it would be a 2. And it can't stop here either, although it sort of looks like it could. The problem then would be, if this were a 3, this would have to go up to here to be at least a 3, and then keep going. Oh, it could do this. It could turn into this 4, actually. Okay. I thought I was going to prove it has to go this way, but I don't seem to have proven it yet. This 4 has to get here. It can't find 4 cells without doing that. So this 3 has to go there, which means it touches this 3. And now the 4 has to do... Hey, you were purple. I liked that. Has to do at least this. And it could maybe touch here, or it could touch here. But either way, this 3 needs at least one more cell. But I don't know which cell, do I? I do. Well, yeah, it has to be this one, right? Because I was thinking at first, oh, well, it has to go this way because the 4 is taking one of these and it takes the other one. But then I was like, oh, well, but what if it went up? But I know it doesn't go up because this is a 3. So it has to go this way. And now, finally, this region can't be a 3. Well, it could be. If it were this 3, if these actually joined up. It can't be a 3 like that. Oh, we have this actually. It's just barely possible for these 2 3s to not touch, right? You would have to do exactly this. And then this 4 has to come here, and the 2 goes there. And then this area is toast. You can't put a 1 in there, and you can't put a 2 in there. And there isn't room, you can't put a 3 in there, and there's not room for a 4. So I don't think these 3s cannot touch. Unless there's some other way for them to avoid touching. Like, you can't do this, you gotta go up. You can't go over, you gotta go here. This guy, yeah. So I think these are the same region. I think this 4 now has to go here, doesn't it? No, I think it has to not go there. Because if it does, what do you do here? You can't make this a 2, because this would be another 2. You can't make it a 3 or a 4. I think this 4 actually, therefore, has to take at least these cells. And if it took this one, I think you might have a problem. Yeah. Oops. So I think it looks like this. And then you can make this a 4. This 3 comes down, this 4 goes here. That's a 2 and that's a 4. And then we do this. These can't touch. Well, this looks like the place to start, doesn't it? Unless it's this 4 in the center, maybe. I don't think so. Oh, well, this 4 has to do that. That's pretty easy. That's a good start. Good work. This 3 can't go here because then it would touch this 3. So in fact, it does this. Range 3 to 5? So this can't be another 3. So it has to take at least one. It has to be at least a 4. But if it goes this way to become a 4, it strangles this. So it has to come up here. And then who's taking this corner cell? It's got to be you. I keep wanting to say this 5 has to get out, but it could go that way is the problem. Well, these 2 4s are touching. They're the same 4. Okay. Sure. That's something. What size is this region? If it's a 3, we have an exciting time here. It can't be. It can't go up here and be a 3, right? Because this 5 doesn't have enough space anymore. In fact, I could just immediately see, if I were smarter, that this 5 doesn't have room. It's only got 4 cells up there, so it has to come down. So this now has to merge with one of these 5s. And if it merges with only one, we have 2 adjacent 5s. So in fact, it merges with both, and we get this. What size is this region? It can't be a 3, because then it would come up here and touch another 3. So, and it can't be a 5, so it must be a 4. Now what about this? The 4 can't go there. This would be stranded. So the 3 has to do it. This 4 has to take this cell, because suppose that it did not. This is next to a 4 and a 5, so it's a 3, but now it's next to a 3 as well. So this is the shape of the 4. This 4 can't go here. This region has to go up. So this is my 3. This isn't size 3. And if it tries to avoid taking this 4, it has a problem. It could do this, but now it has to touch a 5 without being that 5. So in fact, it does touch this 4. And now, I think this 5 is out of ways to not touch this 5, right? It can't make enough room for itself with just these 3 cells, clearly. It seemed before like maybe it could have, although I think this has actually been true for a long time, and I'm only now noticing. So these 5s are the same. But I can't draw this in, because, I don't know, maybe it goes like this? Well, I can't do that because it would touch this 5. Okay, so I can draw this in. And this is already touching a 3 and a 4, so it's got to be a 5, which means this 5. Now, these 5s can't touch anymore. They're different. Well, who gets here? Can't be this 5. Can't be this 5. Can't be this 4. It's got to be a new region that's of size 3. So it doesn't go there. Incredible. There's a beam of light inside this tree somewhere. got to go at least that far. Can't be a 1 or a 2. That has to go to at least here, because it can't be a 1 or a 2 or a 3. This can't be a 1. There's not enough space to be a 2, so it has to be at least a 3, which means it's both of these. No, that's incorrect. This could just be a 1 for all I know. This region can't be a 1, but I don't really know whether it's a 2 or a 3. It has to be one of those. This 3 can't touch this square. So it has to go to at least there. And it can't go any further this direction. So it has to be this. That's the 3. This can't be a 1, so it's at least a 2. Making pretty fast progress for a 5. Maybe it's getting hard at some point. This can't be a 1, so it's a 2 or a 3, the same as this is. I have this pattern appearing twice. This is probably important. If these were connected, wouldn't that be kind of difficult? Because what's this 3 doing? It's got to take at least this cell. Which means it can't go over here, right? So this would have to be a new region, but it can't be a 1. And it can't be a 3. So I think these are not connected. This is a 1. Not sure how useful that is, but it's true, hopefully. This region has to be at least size 2. And it can't be size 3 because it's touching a 3. So it takes at least one of these 2 cells. And I was going to say that means the 3 has to do this, but it doesn't. The 3 could do that. And we could put a 2 here. But now these 3s and 2s are getting kind of precariously close to each other, aren't they? It kind of feels like you can't do this. You end up making a 2 and a 3. Oh. And now this 3 is stuck, right? It can't go all the way down. And it can't take both of these, and it can't take both of these. Yeah, so that's why you can't do this. This region is done. So now this 3 can't go up there anymore. It has to go at least to here, so this is done. I'm pretty sure upgrading this 2 into a 4 would be extremely malicious. How would you find 4 cells, right? Like this area up here. Here's another way to think about it, maybe. That would have enabled me. I mean, so like I proved that this couldn't be a 4, but just by like guess and check, right? It seemed hard, and I worked it through and found it wasn't true. And that's a sort of an inelegant way to solve things. It's nice when you can avoid that. I don't like forbid myself from using guess and check, but it's prettier when you can avoid it. This region, and this region. We know they're different regions, and this one's at least size 2. So these require at least 7 cells to be full, right? Which means they require at least one of these 2 cells. Can I do something with that? Well, maybe. Because I think if they took only this cell, and that was their 7, what would this be? It couldn't be a 1 all by itself. So it would have to connect to something, but I've assumed that it's not connecting up here, so it would have to connect down here, and then it would be a 3 touching a 3. So, the 7 cells that this area takes must include this one. It may or may not take the other one. I didn't, my proof did not address that question. Although, I think it would be hard to, right? Because the only way to do that would be if the 2 came down here. Yeah, which is impossible for a lot of reasons. This 2 and this 3 don't have room anymore. I mean, they do, but only if the 2 touches the 2. So, they don't take this region. So we have this. And now it seems clear this 3 has to come up there, and these are 2s. And this 3 can't go there anymore. So that's my 3, and that's a 2, and there's a 1 here. Yeah, not bad for a 5. Did I, like, leave these alone for some reason on purpose? I'm pretty sure I saw them before. Well, I never clicked on them, so this puzzle is not familiar to me. Size separation. Okay, so the point is this 4, this can't be a 4, right? So this 4 can't get to it, and neither can this. So this 4, therefore, must take at least one of these 2 cells. So at least one of these 2 cells is not a 4. And it's not possible for this to be the only one of these cells that isn't a 4, because I can't draw a 4 that reaches here. So this is not a 4. Which means this is a 4. Because this has to get 4 cells somehow. And then I can say this is not a 4, and there's a wall here. Now, at least one of these 2 cells is not a 4, because this can't reach both of them. Well, maybe more pertinently, exactly one of them is a 4, right? And that carries out down here. Oh, you know what? Orange for 4. I was using red for, like, it's not the main color, but O4 for or 4 makes sense. I don't know. I guess I'll go back to blue. So this, one of these 2 exactly is a 4, and the other one is not. So this has to be a 4. And this isn't, and now I can do this region. Yeah, simple enough. Size 10, huh? But also size separation. This is a 25 tile puzzle. So there's only room for 5 regions, 5 cells that aren't part of a 10 region. And yet, there's like, on this side of the wall, there are kind of 6 things that have to be different from what's on the other side, right? So I think you have to make use of like concavity here, or convexity, or something like that, where this can kind of be on the opposite side of a 10 in 2 different ways. And likewise here. Now that makes space for 2 10s. And now there are only 3 more cells that I have to fill in with non-10s. One of these 2, one of these 2, and one of these 2. So these 2 are not 10s. But let's make them red. Which means all the cells I have that I didn't just point to around this wall, this wall, this wall, they all have to be 10s, right? So this much is true. And this region is already size 10. So, puzzle solved? Yeah. How are we doing on this? That's a 3. How's this window looking? Just 2 more to gild. How nice. Well, these videos always tend to go long because it's not so easy for me to see how long I've been recording. It's been, I think, a bit over an hour now. Let's see if I can get 2 more. Oh, it's so big. Well, this clearly can only fit an F. So every cell next to this has to be an elbow, but none of them can touch. You are taking crazy pills. That sounds very hard. Okay, that's quite restrictive. Not necessarily hard to fill in, but like, it's hard for that to be true, I guess, is all. And it is true, so it's very constraining. That's all. So like, for example, you can't do this. Because while it doesn't touch, and, you know, these are now different sizes, I still have to fill this in with something, and the shape bank is going to complain when I do that. So how do you fill this in with non-touching elbows? I guess this corner is a promising place to start, isn't it? Because it's impossible to fill in? Right? I must be missing something about how this works. Okay, size separation must have different areas. So every one of these cells. No, okay, I get it now. All of these purple cells have to be part of a 3. So they have to either touch, they have to either merge or not touch. So this one can't go here because then it touches this region without merging with it. So it has to do that. And that means this has to come out. And it can't go down because we'd isolate this, so it goes up. Okay. This has to go this way, and now it has to merge here. This has to merge with one of its neighbors, and it doesn't have room to merge there, so it's got to go this way. And I don't think I actually know which way this one goes yet. This can't be a W, it must be an F. And the only way to do that is like this, I'm pretty sure. So that's a 3. This... it could be an F or a W, honestly, right? Either taking both of these cells or both of these cells. So I guess it has to take this one. No, it has to take this one. And if it went here, this cell would be next to both a 3 and a 5. It would be vexed. So now this is a 3. This clearly has to be an F. So that's a 3. This has to... No. Has to be an F again. That's a 3. This is another... Actually, wait a minute. No. It's not an F. It's a W, because it has to merge with this region. So this is a 5, but this is a 3. So the 3 has to be like that, and this has to be an F. This is a 3. So now this can't go up, because this would be stranded. So we do this. I guess also simple to see would have been that this has to be a 3, and there's a 3 right here, so they must be the same one. Now that is an F, and that's a 3. Not too bad. Was that this one or something? I'm a little lost. There's gotta be someone down there, right? They love doing that to me. Maybe not. This is like a whole other area? Where does this even start? Up here? Let's take this 4. Where's my easy starting point? I want a refund. This can't go all the way up. It has to go at least 1 down, and it can't go any further down, so it does exactly this. Got it. Yes. And there's a similar argument for this guy. It can't go all the way to either side, so it has to be exactly this. Now there's only one T that includes this cell, right? It can't reach very far in either of these directions, so it has to be exactly this. Now I can do this and this. This 3 can't touch either of these cells, so it does that. That's a square. This can't touch this because they're both 4s, so it has to get to here. And then apparently go up. This can't touch this 3. It's got to do that. We have this here. Can't touch that 4. It's got to do this. This has to be a 1, right? Because it can't be a 2, and it can't be a 3. But then if it expands anymore, it ends up touching this 4. So that's a 1. I'm not sure how useful that is. Yeah, it would have been simpler to start here and see what the 4 has to do. Sure. This 3 can't get to here. It's got to do that. This 2 is the last thing to address. And if it goes up, I have way too many dominoes. So it goes that way. And then that's a 1. Got it. All right. Gold on this area. I think that's kind of like a good milestone for me in an area to like, yeah, you don't have to chase everything down. I can come back and revisit these puzzles, but it's a good balance between exploring a constraint type relatively deeply, but not insisting on 100% completing each area and letting me explore to new I don't know. So, like, some of them I have tried to solve every puzzle I've seen, but I've sort of transitioned into, like, oh, yeah, just get a milestone on this. A gold if you're having fun, or that one area that I just stopped. I don't think I even got a silver when I was trying to do match, right? Did I? But I did at least complete the window, I think. Where is it? Oh, it's over here? No, that's not the match area. It was way back here. This area. Oh, I even silvered it. Yeah. I mean, come on. Okay. I thought I had done a bit less well here. Anyway, so I don't know. I think it's kind of nice to get a window to a reasonable amount of progress and then head on. And gold is certainly a reasonable amount. So where are we going next? I guess you're supposed to go in here, but this is kind of a joining up of 3 paths. So I've got a lot more. Oh man. Is this like the final boss area? You have to learn all these different things before you can go in here? So it's going to combine elements from all of them, maybe? And there's a lot of puzzles in this game. So I have to come all the way back to, like... I'm thinking probably here is where I'll go next. But there's also something back here, right? Somewhere? Somehow, how do I get these puzzles? Maybe I do have to come in this way. I see. Okay. So this is where we're headed next, whatever this all is. That's for tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.